Gilgamesh. Okay, the thing with Gilgamesh is Gilgamesh is a king. A king is a chosen god. Now, the significance of Gilgamesh is that the young female that he encountered when he wanted to live forever, the reason why Gil is significant that Gilgamesh encountered her and she didn't want anything to do with him, and he kicked her door in, kicked her gate open. In other words, broke her gate, is that Gilgamesh had done many evils upon the earth. After he'd done those many evils, he decided after he had done all those evils that he then wanted to live forever. Because Gilgamesh is evil, Gilgamesh was repeatedly told he cannot live forever. Therefore, in order to try to live forever, Gilgamesh goes to see Utnapishtim. Utnapishtim is the one with eternal life. He's the only one saved after the flood. During the flood. The flood did not flood the entire earth. The flood only, because the flood adds to the earth, but takes out what is not wanted, that's cancerous. Well, when he went to go see Utnapishtim, the young female represents enlightenment, youthful enlightenment, something that always has the attention, something that a person is still excited about. Gilgamesh did not feel that way. He had done evils. That's why she didn't want him there. So what Gilgamesh does is he kicks the gate open. When he kicks the gate open, the young woman, which is representing young enlightenment, tells him, yeah, see Utnapishtim. Utnapishtim is the one who's honestly good. Well, on the way to see Utnapishtim, he has to encounter the Scorpion King and his wife. Scorpio King, he goes to the Scorpion King and his wife. When he sees them, Scorpio King and his wife, the scorpion represents transformation. Transformation has to be his want, his being, which is the alchemical constant, and a chosen God. So that means Gilgamesh has to want to transform more than enough. As if that's his king, as if that's his chosen God. He also meets the Scorpion King's wife, which is to say he has to be dedicated to the transformation. That puts him through a desert because he has to get rid of, the person has to get rid of everything they gained doing evil. He goes through that desert on particular leagues. He has the wind in his back, which is pushing him through, making him more enlightened to do so. Before he does that, he has to take off his animal skins, because animal skins are evil, because we're not supposed to do the animals like that. We're really not supposed to be eating them unless they're kosher. Kosher is that they died naturally. Not that they were killed a humane way, that they died naturally. When he gets to the boat to take him take him to Utnapishtim, he tears up the boat. The boat is what carries you over. The water is society, is people. Well, he tears up what he needs to get him through society. He tears that shit up. So once he tears that up, then he has to go get rods. And each rod he has to push the boat to where the piston team is. I forgot how many rods. And the guy, the whatever pushes him to that place, whoever, the person who lets him use the boat, is not supposed to, because Gilgamesh doesn't belong in that place. He already tore up the boat. He already did a bunch of evil. He don't belong in that place. So they take Gilgamesh to the place. Utnapishtim bakes the bread. And he tells Gilgamesh, you got to eat from what his enlightenment is. Utnapishtim's dedicated enlightenment is his wife. Gilgamesh has to eat from that. He gets a loaf of bread for 7 days, I believe. He falls asleep. Falling asleep means he's not active. The consciousness, not the consciousness, but the being is active. So he doesn't put any love into it. And he does not eat from Upishnatim's wife. He's not enlightened by what Upishnatim is enlightened by. When he doesn't, Upishnatim tells him that he could go get the box thorn in the ocean, which is the people in the water. So he dives down and he gets that, which is basically like a rose. Has thorns all over. Something pretty that blossoms, but it has thorns. So it's going to be difficult to touch. It's going to have its issues, its obstacles. He grabs that, but then he loses it to a serpent because he rests again. He's not active again. And a serpent is a trickster. Serpents aren't evil, but they represent something that is dangerous. Well, not a trickster. It represents something dangerous that doesn't appear to be dangerous when first seen. Gilgamesh loses it. And he goes back to Uruk and then dies like he's supposed to. Because he's done many evils. And the people cannot worship what does many evils and live. We can't worship what does many evils. If you are making sacrifices and making offerings to what does many evils, what does many evils cannot live. It can't live. All these people are concentrated on Jesus. Jesus keeps telling people in the Gnostics, and then I looked at the Gnostic Pistis Sophia, and in Pistis Sophia, Mary tells Jesus, he's the grace but not the light. He's the grace but not the truth. Jesus is the example of what we're not supposed to do. But Jesus offers grace to those who are contrary, who are uncontent. Because if you're discontent and you're not getting anything out of your daily life, which is Joseph. Joseph is the additions of God's. That Jesus says that Jesus is the 12 disciples himself. And he says it's okay to be doing things because other people say to do it, like Thomas. Jesus says it's okay to learn the lesson and like stone Peter, but don't act on it. Jesus said it's okay to know that the celebrities like the Iscariot is going to betray you, but let them betray you. And Jesus gets nailed to a cross. Cross is a crossroads. Crossroads is a place to make a moral decision. When Jesus gets nailed there, the reason Jesus dies there is because all of his decisions are unmoral. He let the celebrity do whatever he's doing. Whatever he was teaching those disciples, you can see it this way. They didn't show their discipleship. They didn't show up for him. The cock crowed 3 times. And Peter didn't speak up. Judas betrayed him. They didn't do it. Jesus is not an evil person. He's the grace, but he's not the truth. You see, how that displays itself is that, but Jesus has to die, you see. Jesus is Gilgamesh. Almost, but not really. But really, let's put it like this. In a way, Jesus is not evil, but how that displays itself is this. In Enoch, it says in Enoch, evil is not forgiven. Angels are actions. It says in Enoch that evil is not forgiven. Jesus says to forgive. That's one of the things that Jesus does that we're not supposed to do. When someone does evil, it's a sinister action. We're not supposed to give what's done as sinister because that is saying that the person intended to do evil to you. A person gonna do you how they feel about you. If they don't care about you, if they feel like you worthless, or even if they feel like you something but they don't want you to be worth anything. For jealousy, for fear, they'll do purposely evil actions to you. It puts the burden on the person to forgive them rather than on them to act like somebody that should be forgiven. So we're not supposed to forgive them. That's why in Enoch it says that they're not forgiven. Jesus gives people permission to not to not be brave enough to honestly take a stand against evil or do anything about their issues. It says, go on and keep being oppressed and forgive the oppressor. Forgive the bully. What Jesus does is give you permission to allow evil to do evil and not have to stand up to it. Because you have to deal with that evil did that intentionally when they knew it was evil and did it anyway and made that deal with Azazel. Every moment that you forgive evil, another kid dies or is in danger. I won't mention the name in this particular video of the people who attacked me, but the people who attacked me unalives children to attack me. Every moment that the people I love follow Jesus, they are or would ask me to follow Jesus. Kids are in danger. What is sinister is not forgiven. The burden is on the person who did the sinister actions to behave as if they can be in society with the rest of us who are good, or with us who are good, not the rest of us who are good. That is why evil is forgiven, and why in every Gnostic, Jesus says, be better than him. And in Pistis Sophia, Mary tells Jesus, Mary is those who have contrary bitter spirits. They have to come to a realization in Pistis Sophia that Jesus is grace, but not the truth. The truth is the son of Elizabeth. Gilgamesh has to die. And he is really the example of evil using things in order to try to live anyway. Although he doesn't deserve to, he wants to live forever anyway. I won't die. And we, the three of us, have to open, the three Gnostic alchemists have to open the seven scrolls. And we're doing that. But every moment that we are being attacked, kids are dying in wars all over the world. And other children are in danger. And now it looks to me like the scientists are in danger too. I may have had my issues because I didn't sleep for a long time. But now we're coming to a point where people are perceiving kids are in danger every day. But it's your celebrities who put them in danger. It's the same people that a bunch of people worship who put them in danger. And at some point, we'll have to project enough for you all to understand that Jesus is the grace, not the truth. Jesus offers you a contentment with doing with people who aren't good. By saying, forgive them, they don't know what they do. Yeah, they do every day when they get up and they decide that it's better to find some sort of contentment among evil rather than their spirit really act out that they are good and cannot be in harmony with evil. Good and evil cannot live in harmony. Can't. Good will never like the evil things that evil does. Evil don't like that good interferes with the evil they do. And if evil is capable of doing evil and sleeping at night, it's gonna be uncompassionate. And evil is gonna attack good. Evil attacks good. They can't live in harmony. Every day somebody wakes up and decides to try to find some contentment, although there is evil around them, the way